And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Om Shanti, 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 Namaskar. And thank you, everybody, for being part, once again, of New Earth Teachings Live, or New Earth TV Live, I should say. I should probably just call it New Earth Teachings Live, but New Earth TV Live still sounds good. Anyways, thank you, everybody, for being here. So we're going to have a wonderful broadcast today. We're going to be doing a guided meditation here very shortly. We're also going to be doing some distance healing, and then we're going to be getting into some Q&A as well, too. Okay, so if you guys do have questions, you can just kind of hold on to them for now. And once we get into the Q&A segment of today's webcast, then we will definitely take questions. But first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and get started with some announcements. Beautiful, sacred geometrical clothing, apparel, and accessories imbued with spirit source energy to heal, rejuvenate, detoxify, and strengthen the body. Shop now at healingcodeshop.com.
The latest revelation in alternative healing has arrived. The Healing Code Cards, a spiritual technology unlike anything else. Through the power of sacred geometry imbued with pure source energy, physical ailments can become eliminated and detoxified from your body. 36 cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. Working with the cards are easy, and their healing results are profound. Download our collection of free sample cards so you can experience results for yourself. And don't forget to view our customer testimonials. Our printed Healing Code card deck is available now with shipping available worldwide. Visit our website at healingcodecards.com.
And also, a new announcement is that the second edition of the Healing Code Cards Mind Deck in digital edition is going to be available on July 31st. Okay, so that's going to be my launch date. I just got back from a vacation, so I wasn't able to do a lot of work when I was on vacation. So I'm just kind of catching up and just doing the last minute changes for the second edition of the Mind Deck. So the Mind Deck, currently, the first edition has 36 cards. The second edition will have 44 cards. So it's kind of like the Body Deck Special Edition when it came out, when it firstly had 36 cards and it moved up to 44. So the exact same thing is happening for the Mind Deck. So again, I will be launching the Mind Deck on July 31st, and there will also be a special promo code that will give you 15% off all three Healing Code card decks as well too, both for the printed edition and the digital edition. Okay, so I still have the first edition of the Mind Decks that are still available. There's maybe about 30 or 40 quantity of them, so you guys can grab a hold of them if you want to. It's on healingcodecards.com. And of course, there's still Body Decks and Energy Decks printed editions that are also available as well too. So all three decks are available in printed edition, and of course, they're always available in digital edition as well too. But on July 31st, I'll have the launch of the second edition of the Mind Deck, and there will also be a special promo code that I'll be giving probably on that the Friday before the 31st. So on the 29th, I'll have that promo code available that you guys can check out as well too. And so that will be available. And I'm going to be working to get the printed edition of the Mind Deck second edition out probably around late fall or early winter, because there's a lot of delays in the company trying to send me the cards. So there's going to be some delays. So probably around late fall, early winter, we'll have the printed edition of the Mind Deck second edition. So stay tuned with that. I know it sucks having to wait this long for a lot of cards to get printed, but that's the process, right? Okay, so let's go down to the final announcement here. Private sessions. So my one-to-one private sessions are now all fully booked up till the end of the year, up until early next year. So in January of 2023, I'll be returning to the private sessions, but I'm basically just taking a couple months off because I'm working with my students, with newer students as well too. I want to work a little bit more with the Healing Code cards, and I also want to work with the Healing Code shop. We're going to actually have some new apparel for the Healing Code shop here in the next little while as well too. So I'm going to be focusing on those things over the fall and early winter months, and then as we get into the next year, early next year, January, then the private sessions will be returning. But the good news is the 3-question private email sessions are still available, right? So I still have them for September. So if you guys do want to book a 3-question private email session with me, that is still available for the month of September. So again, you can go to newearthteachings.com. And final announcement. This is the final announcement. Okay, so everything on the New Earth Teachings channel is backed up onto Odyssey. So again, you can find the link in the video description. You can follow along there too if you like at odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. And of course, what just came to me as well too is next week, next Thursday, is the last episode of New Earth Insights, right? So after that episode, then I'm just going to be doing Friday webcasts, okay? So Thursday and Friday next week, we'll both have the webcasts there. But again, New Earth Insights is ending after next Thursday. Then it will just be New Earth TV Live. But the good news is New Earth TV Live is going to be turning into a 2-hour webcast, whereas I usually just do this for like an hour and a half. So basically, New Earth TV Live will be kind of like the amalgamated webcast, where again there will be guided meditations, distance healing for the first hour, and then the second hour, it'll be dedicated completely to Q&A. And there can be Q&A on absolutely any questions you wish, whether it's, again, personal spiritual growth, inner development, current events, anything else. All right, so it's kind of just it's a very broad show in that way, or I wouldn't say a show, but a broad webcast. Because this isn't a show, this isn't for entertainment purposes. It's a broad webcast that will be taking place. So the very first 2-hour edition of New Earth TV Live will be taking place on August 5th, on that Friday. Okay, so be sure to tune in to that. Okay, so that's it for the announcements. Glad I got all that stuff out of the way. So now we're going to go ahead and begin the webcast today with guided meditation. Again, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me on the chat. It's good to see you all here. I love to see where people are from South Africa and Colorado, Russia, Oslo, Finland, Sweden, Amsterdam, Montana. Wonderful. Denmark. Great to see you all here from people tuning in all over the world. So are you guys ready for a guided meditation? You ready to go on an inner journey? Well, let's go ahead and begin now as we perform our astral meditation. So what this meditation is going to be about is you're going to learn how to connect to the astral realm without having to go into any particular type of trance state or anything of that nature. You're going to go into a much more relaxed and comfortable state of being. But you're also going to have an experience of being able to go and explore the astral realm briefly through this astral guided meditation exercise. So first and foremost, everybody, just get yourselves nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable, making sure the body is nice and comfortable, making sure the spine is nice and erect as well too. And we're just going to start off with some deep cleansing breaths. So deep breath in and out. Inhale, exhale, and one more time, inhale, exhale. And now we're going to just do some heart rate variability breathing as well too. So with your eyes closed, again, we're just focusing on the nose, breathing in and out through the nose. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax. You may start to feel a little floaty. You may start to feel a little light. You may start to feel tingling sensations flowing through the body. This is perfectly natural. This is you moving into the subtle state of being. This is you moving much more into your subtle body. So just let whatever you feel right now, pertaining to that lightness, that floatness, that floating feeling of heart rate variability, just relax yourselves completely into it. And just with your eyes closed right now, just seeing void all around you. In front of you, to the left, to the right, behind, above, and below. Completely contained in void. And now I want you to bring your attention to the Muladhara chakra, otherwise known as the root chakra, which is at the coccyx of your body. And as you bring your awareness to the root chakra, or the Muladhara, I want you to imagine that there is an astral spiral that is now starting to move itself up from the Muladhara and just going all the way up the spine. And you're just seeing this curling, twisting spiral, just moving upwards more and more, up into the infinite void. Just a simple spiral, like a spiral staircase, or like a double helix DNA strand, or even just like a pine cone. We're actually just seeing the curvature and the spiral nature of that geometry just moving upwards. However you want to see it is entirely up to you. But you're seeing this spiral. As that spiral leaves your body and moves all the way up into the infinite, connected directly to your Muladhara, you're now going to feel that spiral moving in a counterclockwise direction. A counterclockwise direction. And as it starts moving very, very slowly, you are going to feel your astral body very slowly starting to leave the physical body. Though you are still going to be conscious in the physical body, your awareness is moving up the spiral. And this spiral is now transiting your astral body from the physical body, and you are just moving in that counterclockwise spiraling movement up past the physical body. And you're feeling your astral body just unscrewing itself and just moving itself up past the physical body. I want you just to feel that. Feel that corkscrew, that spiral effect, that corkscrewing, anti-clockwise, counterclockwise movement of you moving out of the physical body and you being present in the astral body. And you're just following the movement of the counterclockwise spiral, the corkscrew. And you're now leaving this physical dimension, and you are moving yourself into the astral dimension. And now that you are aware of your astral body, I want you to project a thought from your astral body that you are flying through outer space. Just project that thought now through your astral body, that you are just simply flying through outer space. We see a beautiful array of stars. You may start to see beautiful galaxies as well too, but you are just soaring through outer space. You are soaring through the cosmos. And just let this experience be as vivid to you as possible. If you cannot see anything, that is okay. Just feel it. Just know that you are flying through outer space. Let the feeling guide you. You can certainly feel a visualization, but even if we're just feeling a feeling ourselves flying through outer space, through the cosmos, this is all that matters. And as you are soaring through outer space, you see a distant bright light ahead of you, off in the distance. And that bright white light is now starting to get brighter and brighter and brighter, as it now starts to come closer and closer to you. As it starts to come closer, you can feel a warm gentleness to it, a beautiful, loving, warm energy from that light. And that light now starts to get closer and closer to where everything representing outer space turns into white light. And that white light now fills your entire vision. And you immerse yourself into this white light. And now you are standing inside a space that is completely filled with this beautiful, warm, soft white light. And the white light now starts to fade. And you feel yourself now in the middle of a beautiful forest. This forest is all around you. I want you just to take in the sights of this beautiful forest. And you will notice that as you turn around a full 360 degrees, you will notice that there are 4 different pathways for you to walk: the north, the east, the south, and the western pathway. This is entirely up to you now. Which path do you decide to walk? Will you walk the north, the east, the south, or the west? Make your decision. And as you now make your decision and you have walked down your chosen pathway, you are going to see the environment starting to change based upon the pathway that you have chosen. You are going to see the environment respond to your feelings. You are going to see the environment respond to your emotions. You are going to see the environment respond to your mentalities, all based on the particular pathway you have chosen to walk. And whatever you see, whatever you experience, continue to walk forward. Remember that whatever you see is simply a projection and cannot harm you in any way. This is a loving space, and even if you may see something that may be disturbing, know that it is no more different than looking on it on a screen. It is no more different than looking at it as if you were looking at a television set. It will not harm you. What you also have to remember is that this environment is completely available to you, and that it can also bring about healing in any areas that you may feel are troublesome, are disturbing, and therefore just being able to ask the environment to cleanse away what is being seen. Not to avoid it, but to cleanse it. To being able to look at these very things that you see and asking the environment wholeheartedly, let all of these disturbances that I see, let them be cleansed. Let all of these problems that I see, let them be purified. Let all of these conflicts that I see, let them be released. Please remember this as you continue through your astral journey. And as you continue to walk down this path, again, as you see visions, as you see imagery that may be beautiful or disturbing, as mentioned, make sure you are working with the environment to help you continue to walk the path. Should you see any obstructions ahead that are blocking your path, this again is something that you are meant to see. You may see a roadblock. You may see a barrier in the way. Should something like this occur, ask the environment what this represents within you, and let it be softened, let it be cleared, let it be released through your wholehearted sincerity to firstly change, and through that change comes the resolution to release those blockages. And as you continue to walk through your path, there will be a center point to which you will be traveling to. As the path naturally curves its way around to where all four paths of the north, the east, and the south and the west converge to. All four paths converge to this center point. And you will see this center point as a glowing sphere of light. Radiant, beautiful, colorful. As this radiant ball of light has a message in particularly for you. It is a message from the higher self. It is a message specifically intended for you that has been left here, helping you to understand that you can utilize this astral plane and continue to receive messages again and again each time you come here. Each time you decide to do this exercise or be inventive and creative and create your own astral exploration to where this center point gives you the reward of the message of the higher self who wishes to leave this beautiful insight with you. And so now as you come across the center point, let yourself walk forward, seeing this beautiful, shining, radiant, colorful sphere, and feel yourself placing your hand very gently upon the sphere. And you will feel the sphere physically through your hands. You will feel the touch of the sphere actually penetrating your physical body, not just the astral body, but the physical body as well. So let yourself raise your physical hand up and feel yourself touching this radiant ball. And you may start to feel a tingling sensation. You may start to feel a warmth, a coolness. You will feel the texture of this sphere. You will feel it very plasmatic. You will feel it somewhat liquid. But you're just gently placing your hand upon this sphere. And let yourself feel this sphere physically. Not just astrally, but physically feel this sphere. Now I want you to move your hand more and more deeper into the sphere. More and more deeper. More and more deeper. More and more deeper. More and more deeper. Until you come to its core. And you are simply turning your palm, and a beautiful white orb is being placed in the center of your palm, almost like a white pearl found inside a clam. I want you just to feel that white orb, that white pearl. And now we're slowly retracting our hand out of the sphere. And we're going to take both of our physical hands and we're going to hold that white pearl, that orb, in between our hands. So you are feeling it both astrally and physically. And what I want you to do right now is I want you just to think of a very loving thought, a thought that just melts your heart, a thought that is very, very pure and dear to you. And I want you to project that thought inside this pearl, taking that pure, loving thought and projecting it just like it's a beam of light and putting it into this pearl. As you feel that beam of light penetrating the pearl now opens. As the pearl opens, you see a beautiful shining light from inside the pearl. This sparkling, beautiful light. I want you to take that in your hand. I want you to put it inside your heart. Taking that beautiful white light and just putting it inside the heart. Let it absorb itself directly into the heart. And just tune into the heart right now, as the higher self wants to speak to you through your heart. Tune into the light now that has been absorbed into the heart, and just listen. Just listen. Just listen. And now take another deep breath in and out to the mouth. And just give love and thanks to this experience, to the message that you may have heard. If you did not hear a message right away, that is okay. The message will come to you at the appropriate timing. And just basking your love throughout this entire space, again, projecting it, projecting that pure loving thought that you have, and let it fill the entire space like it's a burst of light that illuminates everything through its burst. And this is your blessing, your love, that will completely sustain and preserve this environment, to which you can come back to at any particular time. And just let yourself relax. And as you relax, you see the environment now transforming back into pure white light. And seeing that white light returning back into the cosmos, moving from yourself, going off into the distance, further and further. And now as you are floating within outer space, you are now being aware of the spiral once again, the corkscrew. And now we're going to feel ourselves moving in a clockwise direction. A clockwise direction. Moving ourselves through the corkscrew spiral. Moving deeper into this clockwise direction back into the physical body. You are now leaving the astral plane, and your astral body is now returning back into the physical body, through the corkscrew, through the spiral. And just feeling your astral body starting to meld back into the fusion of the physical body as the corkscrew brings you back. And just taking a moment now to reintegrate yourself into the body, to ground yourself back into the physical. Slowly moving your fingers, curling your toes, rotating your wrists, slowly rotating your shoulders, fluttering your eyes. Just slowly and softly returning back into the physical body. Just like you're waking up from a really nice nap. And when you are ready, you can fully open your eyes and return. All right. Namaskar, everyone. Thank you very much for participating with the astral meditation. So I hope you guys had a wonderful experience through that meditation. I hope you had a really beautiful message from the higher self. Okay, as like I said, that gets put into your heart. And as you tune into the heart, there's a reason behind that, guys. There's kind of a metaphor behind all that. We tune into the heart, we hear the higher self. That's how the higher self talks to us. It talks to us through our heart space. So this is why the light is to be put inside the heart. This is why you also use a thought to open up the pearl, right? Through a loving state, the higher self opens up to you, right? So as we go into that loving and calm and tranquil state, we get a message from the higher self. The higher self communicates with you through the heart. So continue to utilize this meditation again and again for as many times as you wish, as it will be different every single time. And again, thank you very much for joining me with the Astral meditation today here on New Earth TV Live. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to go into distance healing now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a group distance healing today. All right. So again, you guys can join me for distance healing. We're going to be doing what's known as the clear ball technique. Okay. So for everybody, again, I'm pretty sure most of you are still pretty relaxed from the meditation. And again, just closing your eyes, keeping yourself in a nice seated position as before. Okay. I want you just to hold a transparent ball in between your hands. Okay. I want you to feel that ball right now. And you're just putting it inside the chest. Okay, so you're feeling this transparent, energetic ball that is now being placed inside the chest. As it is now placed inside the chest, I want you just to do a body scan of yourself. Okay, so you're just kind of scanning your body here and just being aware of any tension, of any tightness, of any conflicts, of any harshness, of any problems, of any regrets, of any aches, pains, sores, and stiffness, whatever you may be feeling that's in your body right now. I want you to direct that energy like it's a black liquid. Okay, so if we have a headache, right, if we have a sore back, and what we're doing is we're just taking that black liquid representing the headache, and we're taking that black liquid representing the sore back, and we're just putting it directly into the clear ball. So I want you to go ahead and do this now. The same thing goes as if you are feeling heavy emotional conflict. Okay, so we're just feeling, where does that feel in my body? Where do I feel this emotional conflict in my body? Is it in my head? Is it in my throat? Is it in my chest? Is it in my abdomen? Is it in my knees? Is it in my ankles? Where do you feel that emotional conflict stems from? Looking at it through a certain area of the body. And again, seeing that as a black liquid and just directing it completely into the crystal clear ball inside the center of your chest. So go ahead and do this now. And now that you are placing all of that black liquid dense energy inside the crystal clear ball, we're now going to do what's known as the apologetic affirmation. Okay, so this is something you can just do and repeat after me. I apologize to my body for being neglectful regarding this condition. I ask for my body's assistance and for its forgiveness, and for the forgiveness of spirit, to clear away these conditions that are residing within the clear ball, purging it from this body, to be purified and forgiven in totality by the graceful presence of Divine Spirit. And so it is. Okay, so now I want you just to take that ball completely out of the chest, Okay, and you feel the black liquid contained inside that ball, and I want you just to hold it there. Okay? As you're holding it, I want you just to say the following affirmation as you look at the black liquid, dense energy contained inside the crystal clear ball. You're just saying the affirmation again and again. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And what you're going to feel is you're going to feel that black liquid dense energy starting to turn white. Okay? So we're just continuing to say, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. Okay, this is the first step of 2. So again, we're just holding that ball in between our hands. We see the black liquid dense energy in the ball and just saying either out loud or in your mind, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And you're continuing to say this until that black liquid dense energy turns into a white liquid. As that black liquid dense energy turns into a white liquid, we're now going to do 3 Om chants. And after the 3 Om chants, again, I want you to pay attention to how the crystal clear ball appears. Okay? So again, just holding that in your hands, taking a deep breath in. Directing the power of that Om chant into the ball. Inhale. One more time. And relax. I want you to take a look at that ball right now. Does any of that liquid remain? And does the ball even remain? Right? So again, several different things can happen here. That the ball, again, is completely harmonized. And you can actually just put the ball right back into your chest as that energy has now been purified. Or you may start to see that that ball, in that sense, has just shrunken down into absolutely nothing. Or you may see that all the liquid that was once inside that ball is now empty. If any of these things come up, that's great. Right? So you basically have your own transmutation process. So we firstly transmuted it through the I forgive you affirmation, and then we purified it through the Om chanting. So this is what we can continue to do, is just work together with that crystal clear ball, gather all the dense energy that you feel is within you, collect it into the ball, repeat the apologetic affirmation, take the ball out of the chest, say the I forgive you affirmations until that black liquid turns white, and then finish off with 3 Om chants projected towards the ball. And if the ball still remains and the liquid's still in there, put it back in. If it shrinks, let it shrink. If it disappears, let it disappear. All right? Very good, guys. So that is the group healing that I wanted to do with you guys today. So, hope you are feeling well. How are you feeling? Let me know in the comments. All right, let me know how you guys are feeling. Let me know how you guys are experiencing the inner self right now. Okay? As we're going to go ahead and start moving into Q&A now. Okay? So again, if you guys do have questions ready, you can feel free to put that into the chat. Okay? And like I said, any question is fine, whether it's something on current events, whether it's something in regards to spiritual questions, whether it's inner self-development, anything that you wish. Okay? We can put in here. So people are saying, no ball, no more, pain all gone, feeling a chill. Very good. Very relaxed, very serene, feel great. Pain is half gone. Okay, so for Neuron, what I would suggest is just keep going, right, and do it again. Right, just do it again, do it again, do it again. The reason being why if we notice that only some of the pain is gone, it's because we're still holding on to other things. Okay, it becomes identity. You want to shrink away the identity that relates to the pain, right? You got to see yourself completely neutral. So again, that's the key. Co-creating says, my back feels way better. And thank you, Co-creating, for the donation. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear your back's feeling good. Or way better, I should say. Thank you, that felt beautiful. Good exercise. Ball went clear, no liquid, put it back in chest. Yep, sounds good. Great. Okay, so guys, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Again, thank you very much for joining me with the meditation. Thank you very much for joining me for the group healing. Now we're going to go into Q&A, so let me just go ahead and change windows here. There we go. Okay, I just had this kind of quick question here pop up with Leica, so I'm going to take that in. Thank you, Leica, for your question. She says, according to one channel, or he or she says, sorry, according to one channel, we should immediately stop all mass meditations on Earth because the energies of the participants in such meditations are extremely heterogeneous and mostly polar. True. No. This is just based upon someone's belief system, right? They can say that they channel these things, but all that person's really doing is just channeling their own ego, right? Unfortunately, that's what it comes down to, okay? You basically have to look into the effect that mass meditations have actually done upon the planet, because a lot of it is actually documented. There have been people who have been able to meditate globally on peace, and we're seeing crime rates decrease. We're seeing people who meditate on good health for people, and we're seeing the entire area of those people who have meditated improve their health after the meditation session. There's a lot more documented evidence altogether of how global mass meditations actually greatly shift the entire consciousness of the planet. Okay? You cannot in any way pick out the people who are heterogeneous and polar in that way. You can't just pick them out like they're colored black or they're colored green or they're colored red and just pick them out. To me, that again is a dualized perspective. And again, like I said, that just comes from somebody's ego. Unfortunately, guys, this is the thing with channelers, okay? They are not a reliable source of information. I know I speak because I used to be a channeler as well, too. But like I said, there's only a couple of people who I felt who were really, really good channels. And unfortunately, a couple of those people aren't on the planet anymore. Jane Roberts, who again channeled the Seth material, and Carla Ruckert, who channeled the Law of One, okay? Those are the channels I would say that I pretty much have great respect for, because they actually went very, very deep, and they took themselves out of the process of getting this information, which means they left their egos by the side. The channels I see today, none of them really do that, right? About 90 to 95% of channelers on the planet are channeling their own egos, and they're not doing anything else, okay? I know this. I've been doing this for nearly 13 years pertaining to channeling. There's some times, too, where my ego would get in the way. But you want to develop yourself to where the ego is completely either in the background and it's not interfering, or you're going into such a deep trance state that the ego is not coming in. The ego wants to sabotage everything. And all of these particular type of channeled messages that people have sent me constantly over the years, I would say, and even when I was channeling Adronis as well, too, I would say, guys, 90 to 95% channelers out there just don't know what they're doing. They're good people, I'm sure. They're wonderful people, but they don't do their inner work, and I can tell. I can tell right away when a person's not doing their inner work, right? They just start channeling, and they start getting furious, and they start getting angry, and they're spewing all this stuff everywhere, and everything's all about shoulds and shouldn'ts and conditions here. You should do this, you shouldn't do that, and the evildoers are being punished, and the light is winning, and the light is prevailing. It's a bunch of garbage, right? So like I said, 90 to 95% channelers are just channeling a bunch of egoic garbage, okay? They are not a reliable source of information. That's just my own take on it, because again, I've seen hundreds of them throughout the years, and it's all the same. It's like broken record messages, and it's always one way. It's a one-way transmission, okay? So again, guys, I would basically take any particular channeled message that you get from a particular channel with a grain of salt, because they're not reliable, right? I haven't actually really met any channels today that I would consider to be a reliable channel, okay? They got a lot of inner work to do. If we basically see someone who maybe goes into trance and their ego's completely taken out of the picture, then that might be something. Or if a person who has very deeply trained themselves, where the ego's in the background and the light of insight is in the foreground, okay? It's very, very rare. I would say even the popular channels aren't even doing that, okay? They got a lot of inner work to do. I can see it in their eyes. They're not doing it. And you got to do it. You got to do the inner work, right? I'm not saying I was a picture perfect channeler myself with the Adronis. Like I said, sometimes I would get interruptions as well too. But what I did with the Adronis was I kept doing the inner work, right? You got to keep doing the inner work. You got to get the ego out of the way, and you got to let the light come in. Okay, that's so very, very important. If you're not doing that, then basically you're not going to be a very good channel at all, right? You got to do your inner work. You got to learn to release. You got to clear away conflicts. You got to be completely polished, right? You're a polished vessel for the divine. And when you're a polished vessel for the divine, you're actually going to learn to outgrow channeling, because channeling is not the way to do it. It's being able to go directly to the source, go directly to God. That's the way to do it. And that's what I had to learn myself. That's why I basically decided to leave channeling behind, because it was all about going to the source. As much as I love Adronis in that sense, he wasn't needed. I didn't need a bridge anymore. I could go right to the source. That's what you got to do. And then when you're there, because you've disciplined yourself, because you've done the inner work, because you've been doing the inner practices, because you've been cleaning yourself out, you're going to be an incredibly polished insight vessel for the divine. And that's how it works. And unfortunately, a lot of channelers aren't doing that. They just come in and, hey guys, I just channeled this message. Yeah, that's just coming from your ego, right? I see it hundreds and hundreds of times. People constantly send me, Brad, people think that the world's going to end next week. Brad, somebody thinks that New York City is going to explode in a gigantic nuclear disaster. Is channeled. Or Brad, somebody thought that the CERN technology is turned on and we're going to move into a different dimensional Earth that'll be really low and base and almost demonic in that way. None of these things came to pass, right? It's, again, people channeling their own egos. Channeling is not a reliable source of information. As long as a person does it through the ego, never will. When they learn to get the ego out of the picture, then it could be something. But I have yet to see it from anybody, okay, other than the two people I've mentioned, Carla Rickart, Jane Roberts. All right? Those are the only two channelers I think I've really deeply appreciated out of any other, okay, because they were the real deal. That's just my perspective, but like I said, everything I share here is my perspective, my point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. Okay? So Leica, I would say, don't worry about that stuff, because that's just channeled, egoic, dualistic garbage. Okay? That's my take on it. Thank you so much. Okay, let me just go through the list. I'm kind of just going randomly here. Okay. So this one here is from Lisa Scott. It's near the top of the chat. Lisa says, do you see the unvaccinated being forced out of society, living in off-the-grid communities? So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to pull up the tarot. We'll take a look at Lisa Scott's question about seeing the unvaccinated being forced out of society to live in off-grid communities. I pretty much already know the answer, but I'm just going to let the tarot take care of it. Okay. So let's see what the tarot says here. How about that? Give it a shuffle. Okay, so basically in that sense, no. We're going to see the idea of those who are unvaccinated actually be the leaders. They're actually going to be a lot of the guides and the helpers, and they're going to be the pioneers ahead for these times. They're the ones that hold the deeper secrets because they're not suckered into being vaccinated, right? So this is the idea of great intuition, great leadership through the power of wisdom that is leading people, right? It is going to lead into a much more prosperous time. So like I've said, guys, in the past, when I was talking about this with the last New Earth Insights, I was even talking about this with Janine in our interview as well too. Guys, we're moving up. We're going upwards, guys. We're not going down, right? This is not leading into a subterranean rock bottom, okay? We've already hit rock bottom in the past. We are climbing up this mountain, right? So Lisa, I'm not too sure where you're getting this information from, right? If you're getting it from a particular source, then they're not a reliable source at all. If it's coming from your own fears, then you know that that fear is not a reliable source whatsoever, okay? Because a lot of this from you is coming out of fear. Okay, what do we do with fear, Lisa? We release it because it gives you no benefit. It gives you no comfort whatsoever. Okay, this is all part of a time of people coming together, of people integrating, of people being able to work together. Through tragedy comes unity. And through that prosperity of unity, people are going to discover their soul tribes. They're going to discover their soul groups. The people in that sense who realize that things are not right here in the world and are looking to change it are going to be those pioneers. They're going to be the ones that are going to help bring people together. And there's going to be a very large worldwide voice that's going to come. It's going to take some transitioning time, but it is going to take place. And there's work to do, right? So there's work to do and people coming together, and you're building a whole new world together. This is not about the idea of being an outcast, of feeling like there's reservations for the people who are unvaccinated, and we're just going to put them into these internment camps, and that's it. Who's going to put them there? Like I said, guys, everything that represents the dark forces themselves are being completely snuffed off the planet, and they're now just spread out in small remnants that remain. A lot of the things that are happening right now, not just from what I've been saying, Janine herself has been saying this at the same time. We keep getting the same answer, both of us, right? And I'm not constantly in contact with Janine, right? Sometimes I'll watch her videos when she was up on YouTube, right? And I'll say, oh my God, that's exactly what I got as well too. Like she says something about a topic, I get the exact same thing, okay? We are not seeing anything in regards to a dystopian future. That's not what's going to happen. Sorry to disappoint you guys. I mean, if you guys are like waving flags and say, yeah, let's hope for a dystopian future even though we don't want it, and I'm sorry to disappoint you, right? You might as well just vaporize that flag because that's not what's going to happen, okay? We're moving into a very promising time forward. Yes, we're going through hiccups right now. Yes, we're going through rough terrain. Like I said, it's a white hot summer. It's a white hot summer right now, and we're going to get some intense heat. But like I said, as we get through the summer and as we move more into the fall and the winter time, leading to the end of this year, we're going to see some very, very promising and positive transformations take place. I even had this conversation with Janine. If you guys have watched my video with the recent interview I did with Janine, she was completely agreeing with this as well too. We're going to see some very positive times forward. So I'm really not too sure why you guys hang on fear so much. Janine's not saying it. I'm not saying it. So why are you guys hanging on to it? It's not going to help you guys. That's not going to add longevity to your life. Okay, you got to get out of this fear vibe, right? It's not the idea. This is programming. You got to get these programs and conflicts and problems out of you, because I don't know what source people are tuning into. So this is not a good source. If it's telling you to be afraid and that you're going to go into internment camps and everyone who's unvaccinated are going to go off these reservations and be far away from civilization, guys, you're being just taken advantage of with a bunch of garbage, egoic information, because that's not what's happening at all. Okay? So Lisa, that's my take on that. So thank you for your question. Okay, we got a couple contributors here. This one here is from Co-Creating. Thank you again. Is Himalayan salt actually healthy? It most definitely is. Okay, but we'll even look into the cards for that as well too. Now it depends on the quality of the Himalayan salt. There are some companies that may sell in a very cheap brand, right? You can kind of tell there's not even really that much saltiness in it, right? So you want to be mindful of kind of like more organic brands, right? Maybe kind of like local mom and pop shops or local health stores that may sell them, right? Getting much more of the better quality of the Himalayan salt. But I use Himalayan salt on practically all of my meals, right? And it really makes a difference. I got the good quality brand, okay? You want to taste that saltiness, okay? So you really want to taste the mineral salts. If some of them are kind of bland and you don't really taste any of the salt hardly, then that's not a very good brand. You should just throw it away. But let's take a look at what the cards say about that, okay? Is Himalayan salt healthy? Let's take a look. So it's kind of saying the same thing. It says depends on the quality of what you're getting, right? Some people may have very poor quality Himalayan salt and think it's good, but again, like I said, there's hardly any saltiness in it. And if you're getting the really good brand, then like I said, you're going to get great benefits out of it. But if you're getting really good benefits out of the good quality, yes, it's going to really, really help the body altogether, okay? So this is, again, behind the scenes of the question itself. All right, but again, sometimes we let our emotions stir up in regards to these things, and when it's healthy, you have to let the body tell you what's healthy rather than your beliefs and your emotions. Okay? When you're talking to the body and you're eating something and you're not distracting yourself with entertainment, you're not distracting yourself from actually enjoying your meal, you can listen to your body. Your body is actually going to sing and saying, this is good. Keep putting it in. Okay? So this is the whole idea, is you want to pay attention. You want to pay attention to what the body is trying to tell you. Listen to your vessel, right? Some people may not like Himalayan salt, and so they decide to put it aside. That's okay. Maybe you're deciding to use black salt. Maybe you're deciding to use Dead Sea salt, etc. That's fine too, okay? So the near future is, like I said, you have to kind of make your own judgment here. Is Himalayan salt for you? Make sure you have the good quality brands. Make sure there's a lot of good saltiness in the Himalayan salt as well, because there are kind of substandard brands out there as well too. So just make sure you're getting the very good quality, right? The fresher you can get it, right? Maybe you go to the Himalayas themselves, but the fresher you can get it, the better. Okay, so we're really looking for the pure saltiness, that pure mineral salt taste. Okay, so in a nutshell, yes, depending upon the quality that you get. Okay, thank you very much, co-creating. Rachel, thank you very much for the donation. Aren't you sweet? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's go down the list here a little bit more. Scroll down a bit more here. Okay, here's one from Annie. Annie says, Australia here. Queensland mandating masks again, and Victoria planning lockdowns. Will it happen, or are these just threats? Okay, so are there mask mandates and lockdowns looking to happen? Again, Queensland, Victoria area, or is this happening, or is this just a threat? Is this just part of the movie? Okay, so let's take a look at that. Yep, sounds kind of more like a facade than anything else. Okay, so basically in that sense, this is people, like I said, getting tested once again, because again, if they try to keep pushing these things, what's going to happen to the people that hear these news? They're going to get stronger. Okay, so when we feel this threat, because that's basically what it is, happen throughout Australia, that people are just going to get more and more ignited with response, right? And that response is going to be very, very powerful. Okay, feels like there may even be some intervention taking place as well too, relating to this situation, right? So we may see something pertaining to off-worlders that may actually be helping in a certain way to, again, getting the people riled up and, again, bringing resolve, right? Because this is still kind of, I'm not trying to be crude, but it's kind of like Australia is getting a very big enema right now. This is what's happening. The hose is basically going in, and it's a really big cleanup that's happening. It's cleaning out the bowels of Australia. I don't mean to be too gross with that metaphor, but it's the best way I can really put it, right? And it's a very, very vicious cleansing that's taking place. You got parasites in there, you got all this stuff, and everything's just being flushed out. When these situations happen, it's trying to say, people, you got to step up more. So we're going to try and get you guys to step up so that we can see you guys really take a stand and really want to change. Stop getting so complacent. Work together. Be with your soul tribes. Come together and unify, right? This is the whole idea. We need people to work together. We need people to come into their soul tribes. We need people to take much more of a stand. So this is why these things continue to happen. People aren't standing up enough. There needs to be more of that action coming together. So like I said, it's just all part of the summer, because the summer is about that strength of aggression, right? That courage. Okay, and like I said, we're going to see some surprises here for Australia. It's not going to be what you think. Okay, and so the whole idea here in the near future is we're going to see, again, just that attempt to get more people to stand up. But like I said, if we start to see and start buying into these things, then we're trying to bring about a sort of that particular type of event to take place. So the very, very important thing is that people have to keep standing strong. They have to say no. They have to move upwards, right? They have to work together. so that this doesn't continue to go on repeat again and again. Yeah, okay, there's another threat for masks again, there's another threat for lockdowns again, etc., etc., right? We don't want to keep having this news. People have to stand up. So Australia is kind of getting a little bit more of a kick in the butt, right? And that's just kind of the words in code here. Stand up for yourselves, right? And do not tolerate anything from that government. Look what they're doing in Sri Lanka right now with their government, right? So, I mean, Australia may get to that point as well, too, where they've had so much, and they may just start to storm the capital. Who knows? As well, too. But this is the whole idea, is stand up right now so you do not have to repeat this another time, to where things are starting to look more and more worse, even though it's not really. It is pretty much a facade, but again, those things are taking place to try and get the people who are still sleeping to wake up and join their soul tribes. That's really what's happening. So I don't see this happening, okay? But again, the threat is there. So like I said, the actions are up to you guys. If too many people start believing that this is very, very real, then you're going to try and make it real, okay? So we don't want that. We want to make sure that you're working together, you're coming with your soul tribes, you're taking a stand, you're letting your voices be heard, okay? That's the idea. So thank you for your question. Annie? Okay. Oh, this is from Christian from the exercise. Thank you, Brad. Brother Brad. Lots of release, lots of crying, tingling spine. A lot of relief as I twisted my ankle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, good. Well, Christian, I'm glad the healing has helped you. Okay, so like I said, guys, keep working with that guided meditation. Keep working even with the group healing that we just did. Okay, you can work with that again and again and again for any issue that you have. Okay. Okay, here's a question here from Kim. This is regarding the BCR technique. So again, if you guys haven't heard of the BCR technique, it's on my playlists of my YouTube channel. It's a 30-day challenge. I suggest you guys check it out, as well as prana transmission technique challenge, a 3-day challenge. So Kim says, my crown has pressure now all the time. Should I do something in particular? Thank you so much. No. If your crown has pressure, it's because down below here you have a lot of pressure happening, right? The crown in that sense is not a chakra. Okay, it's a gateway. So whenever you're getting a lot of pressure around your head, it's because there's still a lot of buildup below. Okay, so we got to clear away the conflict. We need to go through each particular chakra one at a time and start cleaning it out. Okay, so I just put up a video yesterday about part 1 of the chakra centers and the dantians. Kim, I'd like you to watch it, okay, because I go through what each chakra represents, and we want to clean that out. We also want to create a timeline, okay? In BCR technique, this is what we call our variants, right? We're looking at ourselves from infancy, going back as far as we can recall, and we're clearing away any big beast traumas that are there, and we're releasing them all together. So the more that you release, the more that you're clearing away these particular conditions that are congesting the body, that pressure is now going to start to decline a little bit more, okay? But also that pressure may be there because there could be an activation that awaits you at the same time. But quite commonly, that pressure is there because of buildup, right? There's a lot of buildup of heavy stress and heavy strain that are still within the body that you need to work in cleaning out, okay? Thank you, Kim, for your question. Okay. Okay, this one here is from Francis. Francis says, I'm a newbie. Thanks for all your work. Thanks for verifying that. She says, how do doppelgangers work? Do their families know they aren't their real selves? We can't really say because we're not really getting that much information. Let me kind of just get an example here in that way. Well, that depends. That depends on how close they are to the agenda, right? Some families are not close to the agenda and they're basically oblivious to this, okay? There may be some other family members that are very much following the agenda, where maybe their son, their daughter, their brother, their sister, their husband, their wife, in that sense, is playing together with the agenda. And so they may be aware. So it all depends upon the family in question, the friends in question in that way. But doppelgangers in that sense are often kept very, very secret. So again, as long as somebody who's in on the operation will be aware of what's going on. But a lot of it is kept hush-hush, yes, because they don't really want those leaks. These are, again, a lot of these doppelgangers, when we're looking at the counterforce side, are being put in place just as part of a transitional government, so when the time is right, these particular politicians will shift out of authority power, and new ones we put in their place. Basically, a lot of the original ones have been processed. They've been taken into custody in that sense, and they have basically faced trials, right? And basically have met their end through those trials. And so basically, to keep up with the narrative, they will create these doppelgangers, people in rubber masks, or they will use computer-generated imagery or anything of that particular nature. So they'll use body doubles, people in rubber masks. They'll use, again, CGI quite commonly to make sure that this keeps up with the narrative, because it's so very important that the people are understanding what's happening. That's why a lot of these severe stories are coming out, right? This is why we're getting all of this troublesome news, because people have to know what has been hidden under their noses. This is a soft disclosure, right? This is the in front of the scenes disclosure that's representing a ceremonial coming of age for people on this planet. Okay? People who do not outgrow this, people who do not know what's going on, are going to stay in the shadows, and they're going to stay in fear. And those who realize this is indeed a coming of age ceremony, this is all part of the idea of some type of soft disclosure, and it's going to lead into a very, very powerful resolution, are on their way up. And those are the ones that are basically being the organizers. Those are the ones that are being the planners. Those are the ones that are being the pioneers and encouraging people to come together with your soul tribes and work together in large groups, because that's what's going to make a difference. To make a difference here. You're not looking to be a lone wolf, right? You work together in your groups. You have supporters. Do not keep wasting your time trying to convince people who will not want to be convinced. You have to let them go and work together with people who you gravitate towards, who think as you do, who work as you do, who speak as you do, who have the same kind of feelings about this whole situation as you do. Those are the groups you want to be with. So don't waste your time with people that have already made up their mind. Bless them, let them go. They need to be in that space right now. You start gravitating where you belong, because that's your true family. Okay? Just like I said before in the past. So thank you, Francis. Okay. Milhail says, will you invite Janine more often now? I don't know. I mainly did that interview for her because of what happened to her YouTube channels, right? So basically, I just had compassion for her, and I wanted to bring her on YouTube once again, because we've done 2 other interviews before on this channel. I've also done an interview in the past on her channel as well, too, before it was taken down. So we have a friendship there, yes, absolutely. Am I going to bring her in again? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm really not moving too much into the current events so much anymore. Okay, this is why, another reason why the New Earth Insights is closing down. I'm kind of getting out of that. Like I said, I don't mind you guys asking questions about current events, okay? But I'm not a truther, guys, okay? I'm not a truther. I'm not being these guys who's patriotic or anything like that. I'm not those kind of people, right? That's not really who I am. I did this for Janine because I wanted to do something nice for her, right? I wanted to offer her compassion. And like I said, I appreciate a lot of the work she does, and I know she's very much behind the truther movement. I'm not behind that stuff, right? I share this stuff, guys, because you want to hear it, okay? I don't care about any of this stuff. None of this stuff in regards to current events even bothers me, okay? I'm way past that. So I do this for you guys because you guys want to hear it. But again, you see me slipping in these things as well, too. So are you guys remembering to release yourselves? Are you guys remember to go into healing and clean yourselves out, right? So I'm giving you those little reminders at the same time. So I'm happy to talk about these things. But no, I'm not engaged in truther stuff or conspiracy or patriotic stuff. I don't care about any of this stuff at all. Not a bit, right? I'm doing this for you guys, and that's it. But I felt that it was time to firstly adjust my schedule so I could do 1 webcast per week, because it's easier for me because I have so much demands on my time right now. And like I said, I just want to kind of get out of that current event umbrella. I want to get out of that truth umbrella, because that's not who I am, right? But like I said, when we have the Friday webcasts, when they're 2 hours long, and we have the last hour dedicated to questions, I don't mind if you guys ask me current event questions, okay? But I'm also going to tell you exactly my perspective, right? And I'm going to encourage you guys to heal yourselves. I'm going to encourage you guys to do your inner work, because that's important. Because when you do your inner work, that's going to be the cure. The cure to all of this is your inner work. The cure to all of this is your ability to release. The cure to all of this is ending desires. It's ending problems. It's ending conflicts. It's ending regrets. That's how you get out of this whole maze, right? It's a hamster wheel that we keep running and running and running. The whole thing, well, we'll try and make some changes outside. No, not going to work. right? The only way you're going to get out of this is by going in here and changing yourself. You cannot change the outside world, and anybody in it you cannot change. You can only change yourself. When you have that realization, all you're going to want to focus on is your inner work and releasing and clearing away conflicts. It's exactly what I'm teaching my students right now, and they're doing it, and they're seeing a difference. People who are on this channel who have been doing BCR technique, prana transmission technique, are seeing a difference, guys. The proof is all around you. But this is a subjective science. The nature of the inner work is a subjective science. Because something worked for that person, it doesn't mean it's going to identically work for you. You have to discover that, because we all have our own situations and problems and conflicts, and we have to sort them out. That's our responsibility. You can only change yourself. So as you can only change yourself, you have to be the one you have to work with. You have to clear away all these problems, and none of it will come back, right? I've been talking to my students, and one of the students was able to completely stand strong at their work and actually have a complete peaceful experience with a troublemaker that really did not give that person any problem whatsoever. While that troublemaking person was in my student's presence, he was not able to do anything harsh, anything unpleasant at all. And it wasn't until he left that troublemaker actually got into trouble. This is what I'm talking about, guys. You are purifying your presence, which means you will attract nothing but peace within your life as long as peace is in here. You do not worry about the conditions of the world. It's not your job, right? Gravitate to the people who work together with you, who you feel are of like mind, and work together in group collective consciousness, absolutely, because that's working together strongly. But also remember that you have to do your own inner work, right? And gravitate towards the people that come to you as you start releasing and clearing yourself out. That's what's so important here, okay? So this is what I can say is, I don't know if I'm going to bring Janine back or not. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes. But like I said, I'm just getting out of that truther umbrella, because I don't fit under that truther umbrella, right? I'm all about spirit. I'm all about empowerment. I'm all about helping people to liberate themselves. I'm under the liberation umbrella, which is a heck of a lot higher up than the truther one, okay? That's the umbrella I stand under. Helping you guys to liberate yourselves, helping you guys to go free, helping yourselves go to God. That's what I'm here to do, first and foremost, okay? Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move on. Terry here, I think she's following up in regards to my question that I had regarding channelers in that way. So Terry Taggart asks, regarding that channeled message, could it be their higher self instead of their ego? No. The higher self doesn't say you should not do this and you should not do that and you cannot do this and you cannot do that. So Terry, like I said, I've been working with this stuff now for almost 14 years, okay? I know what the higher self is like, okay? That is not the higher self at all. When you think a higher self is throwing conditions at you and saying, no, you guys shouldn't be doing global meditations because you're going to have people who are polarized and they're going to come in here and they're going to sabotage it. No, that is not intelligent information, okay? You have to have a knack of how you are able to interpret intelligent information. It's something like you can kind of smell it. It's like an aroma. That's kind of how it is to me. And when I read this, it represents a particular type of aroma. And sometimes your aroma really, really stinks. It's worse than excrement. So you have a natural knack to discover what's an intelligent message from what is just a complete and total egotistical one. So Terry, the one I was just talking about earlier, was a stinky one, okay? And that was basically ego. So like I said, the higher self is never going to throw shoulds and shouldn'ts at you. It's not going to be conditional with you. It's just going to encourage you to release all of that garbage so that you can go free and liberate yourself. That's what the higher self is doing. The higher self wants you to be the higher self, right? It doesn't want you to think of, well, here's the lower self and here's the higher self. No, we want to converge that. We want to just be the self, right? There's no more a lower and a higher. That's the higher self's job. The higher self is working to take this component of itself and bring it into the light, so that the lower and the higher are one. That's the entire purpose of the higher self, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It's not here to bombard you with, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Then it's basically just acting like a religion. Okay, that's not how the higher self works. You guys are really only going to know that when you feel it. It's like when you go into these meditations and you let everything go. And now you feel the higher self and say, how did it feel? Brad, it was like just complete and total love. It was complete and total purity. It was just perfect. That was the higher self. You got it. You look at that message, there's nothing of the higher self in there. There's nothing but ego. When a person is telling you, oh, don't do mass meditations because we have polarized people, it's complete and total ego. I've had people tell me that before as well, too, by the way. It's not the first time I've heard that. No offense, guys, but like I said, that person is completely consumed with egoic messages. Okay? You have to feel it. You have to feel the light in the message. And there's not really that much light there. There's too much shadow. There's too much dualism. The higher self does not work with duality. The higher self is trying to bring you into the non-dual. Okay, that's again part of its nature. It's part of its purpose. It's to show you the non-dual nature of life, because that's all that really exists. Whenever you're getting bogged down by all these egoic messages, you're just living a life of illusion, because you guys have never experienced duality. You're only living an illusion. That's like you just saying, oh, there's this imaginary person over here and he keeps calling me names and stuff like that, right? This constant imaginary person that doesn't exist. And he's calling me names and he's throwing things at me, etc., etc. What are you talking about? There's no one there, right? Even through this person's perspective, there's no one there, but he's just created the illusion of thinking that there's an imaginary person shouting at him and throwing things at him. Okay? It's you guys buying into illusion. You guys don't even really have a shadowy ego, right? The only reason you feel you have it is because of all this gunk you've put into yourself. You've basically been walking backwards. You've been walking an inverted, unnatural path because you've been looking at the outside to come in. And that is walking backwards. Guys, that's the satanic path. And the majority of the people on this planet have been walking a satanic path for centuries. If you are constantly trying to get the outside to change yourself from the inside, you're walking an inverted pentagram path. Okay? Because that is putting the material world first and the spiritual world last. It's almost like devil worship. Okay? But you don't know that you're doing it. And that's the idea. So you're walking backwards. But when you actually start going into the non-dual, where you realize everything is just consciousness, and that I am the self, I am the divine, I am the source, I am God consciousness. This is who I am. And I live in that way. Everything that represents duality illusions fades away. And now all that resides in this body now is God. That is the true way. That is the non-dual path. That is you walking forward. Okay? You guys have to feel this into yourselves. I can only explain so much because the intellect isn't going to give you this clarity. Your own self-experiences subjectively is going to give you this clarity. Okay? Thank you for your question. Okay. So just give me a moment here, guys. Yeah, Terry says again, I come to believe that we would not know the light if there wasn't any dark. You're right. That's exactly why we come into this world. That's exactly why we come into such a dense reality. Because for a human being, this is the densest reality you can experience, right? When you're looking at other forms of life that are in the lesser evolved states, they go into lesser densities. I talked about this yesterday in the Chakra and Dantian's video, right? Where I was actually able to use the spiral, right? And that's what I was talking about, guys. I use that particular spiral to go up and down the dimensions. That's how I travel. I use the corkscrew. Guess how I learned that, guys? Psilocybin. My last psilocybin trip that I did back in 2020, they actually taught me how to use that geometry to move up and down the dimensions. that corkscrew spiral. And that's what I use to go into the astral, to go into the causal, and to even go beyond mind. I use that. It's like an elevator. It's a corkscrew elevator. And it's taking you up. It's taking your astral body up. And you're still present within your body. But you can actually feel the astral dimension here. You can actually feel the causal dimension here. You can actually feel yourself going out of the mind and just coming into static stillness. And that too is very beautiful. That's my chariot. That's what I use to go up and down the dimensions. All right? So yes, it is all about the idea that you have to go. It's kind of like in this idea. If you have a rich child, right, born into a very, very upper class family and only being fed the highest classy meals that he has ever had in his childhood life, then he decides to take a trip one day. He goes out into the city and he sees poverty all around him. He's shocked. He's absolutely just bewildered by what he sees. And then he goes into a small kitchen, and they give him partially moldy bread and maybe a little bit of very stale soup. He tries and, what the heck is this? This is not edible for people. What are you talking about? This is what we all eat down here. Sorry, Your Majesty, but this is what we eat. You have a little bit of moldy bread here, and you have some stale soup. He never imagined such a world. And now he stays there for days, being in the kitchen, eating the stale soup, eating the partially molded bread. And he says, I understand. I now understand what it is to have purity. Because I came from all that fine living, all that fine food, and I came down here and I ate the stale soup. I ate the moldy bread. And now I can realize what is poor and what is pure. I can now realize what is impure and what is pure. I can now realize what is bad and what is good, because I had to sample the darkness. I had to sample eating that moldy bread. I had to sample eating that very stale soup. I had to go through that. And now I know exactly what purity is. And it's like I'm living up in heaven. In heaven, we have everything that's pure, right? We have the divine meals. We have the divine scenery. We have the divine beings up in heaven. Then we come down here and we eat the moldy bread and we drink and eat the stale soup, right? So this is not it. So I need to taste both. I need to see exactly, here's the wellness of the food and here's the impurity of the food. And so now I know. I have a scale now. So now I'm phasing out everything that represents the impure, but I'm grateful to the impure because it's helped me to see what is truly pure. I needed to go through those impure experiences to help me understand what purity truly is, because I've had a taste of purity and I've had a taste of impurity. And now I'm able to look at the scale. And now I'm able to phase that out so I can go back up into purity. But I'm very thankful to the impurity for showing me that this exists. Now I am truly grateful the more that I move up into my pure self. You see? That's the whole idea. So yes, Terry, you're very much on a roll here with the idea. We come down to earth to look at the impure. But there's also the pure at the same time on earth. So we now have a contrasting scale. Right? Just like what we see on TV with mainstream media, showing all these horrible things, but here we are living in our house and everything's nice and peaceful. Well, there you go. I have a contrast, right? And I'm surrounded by very kind-hearted and compassionate people. And then I see other people who are talking about how horrible they've been treated. Well, there you go. Now I have a contrast. That's the whole idea. And all we're doing is we're working through that scale to come back into the purity, and we're thanking the impurity for showing us this. Thank you for showing me what I know I do not want in my life. I am grateful. That's the idea. That's why we come here. We're purifying ourselves because through this life, through linear reality, you understand what is the lowest of the impure and the highest of purity. And you're now starting to work together with that. Okay? People who do their inner work, that is. All right? Thank you for the question. Okay, guys, I think we're going to take one more question, then we're going to wrap up. Okay, I think we'll end here with Justin's question. Justin says, what is your opinion of Hawaii's independence movement and the collective energies here? Okay. Well, I've been to Hawaii. I've been to both Maui and I've been to Kauai as well too. And I loved it both times. Yes, Hawaii is very pure, and I say that out of personal experience because I've been there. Right? It's a very, very pure chain of islands. So I do love it. Again, I've only been to 2 of the islands, Maui and Kauai. Brad, which one do you like better? I like them both equally. I think they're both great. There's a lot more rain on Kauai when I was there in 2020. Maui, there wasn't so much, but rain aside, I love all the islands. It's great. Okay, let's take a look at that then. Opinion of Hawaii's independence movement. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so there certainly is the intention for Hawaii to go independent, right? So of course there are enough people to basically make that happen, okay? And I feel like I said that is going to be happening in that way. I think that they may be withdrawing from the idea of perhaps citizenship from the United States and maybe functioning as an independent state. Okay, so it feels like there is certainly a drawing, an inertia that is building up into that way to basically bring that independence to the people together, okay? So again, yes, there certainly is an intention to bring about some great peace. It's going to take some time, though. It's still going to require a great deal of support from other states as well, too, and again, other places all over the world. But I feel like that may be something that will be coming together. I feel like the idea of an independent states, just many different states or provinces that may start to be independent, I think we may start to see that within the next couple of years. It's not going to happen right away, but it certainly is gaining enough momentum for that to take place, because not just states within the US, maybe not just in provinces in Canada, but we also start to see some countries deciding to go independent as well too. I think that will be coming. I don't know when exactly. I think it'll probably be in the next couple of years. Okay, there's still a lot of work to do before that can happen, but it certainly is moving in that direction. Okay. So what I'm going to do for you guys finally now, for the last part of the segment today, as we're now concluded with Q&A, is I'm just going to open up to Spirit. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment and just let Spirit give a final message to everybody here today. One moment. We want to advise each of you to remember the importance of how precious you are. We want to advise each and every single one of you how important it is for you to be here at this time, because you are engaging yourselves in the greatest state of revolutions that are generally going to shape the planet to such a degree that your generations ahead will not be experiencing the same type of transitional agendas that you are currently experiencing now. It's so very, very important that here and now, at this time, that you learn to work together with one another. It's so very important at this time that you see yourself through every single person whom you meet. It's so very, very important at this time that you see yourself as the earth sees you, that you are indeed precious, that you are indeed divine, that you are indeed the purity of life. And you want to continue to encourage that through your journey here in life. It is to ensure yourself that you are always on the true path. That whenever you feel like you have strayed away from something, your instincts kick in and say, that is not genuine to myself, and it will pass. But you have always been walking on a true path. None of you have deviated from that true path, even if you think that you have. But you haven't. It's all because you have seen these things that represent such a discord to yourself that it continues to bother you. And it continues to bother you, and it continues to nag with you. And you now start to see how that grows and say, okay, I've had enough. I'm ready to clear that away, and it is done. You have never strayed away from the true path of yourself. And we want you to know this. It is very important that you know this. It's very important for you to realize that everybody here is your true soul family. It's very important for you to realize that the love that you hold And how you give compassionate service to everybody brightens universes. Because that is what every person that you see represents. Other universes, other dimensions, other worlds. That's who they are. That's who you are. And that your gift for compassion is the greatest gift that can ever be given. This is what your world, when it comes together and realizes the true essence of love, of joyfulness, of compassion, of happiness, of bliss, it will never face off with such problems again. You have only faced off with such problems because you've dragged it behind you, where it slowly nags and then starts to intensify and then starts to get bigger and then starts to get larger and then gets to the extreme, and then you cut it off at its source. You wait until the red alert alarm sounds. Then you cut it off. And that's what you've been doing. You've moved from yellow alerts to orange alerts to red alerts. And you're cutting those things off by yourselves and on collective levels. Continue to do this great work. The inner work is your salvation. Your ability to sit down with yourself and look at what's happening in here is the most important thing. It is not about what's happening out there. If you are too concerned with what's happening out there, you will simply enslave yourself by looking at all those things and identifying with it, when in fact that's not your true being. That's just more things that are dragging on your coattails. Cut off those sources. Come into release and work together with the ones that you naturally gravitate towards, that are going to aid you and assist you in the greatest ways that you can ever imagine, where you are building this brand new world. Because that's what's happening. The earth is working alongside you to create a whole new planet. That's what you're experiencing right now. It's the cutting off of the toxins. It's the clearing away of the pollutants, so a pure earth can remain, just as the analogy was given. You have to know what is firstly impure before you can now come into the pure. This is for you to know. This is for you to realize. This is for you to embody in yourselves, so that you realize all together you are truly one family. It is not about blood, it is about spirit. It is not about commonality, it is about love. That is what binds you together. Not through your opinions commonly, not through your beliefs commonly, not for what you do with trade or work, or commonalities in the physical, but love that connects all things together. That is the purity. That's what brings you together. Exercise that to the fullest. With infinite love and blessings to you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Be well. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you can check out the websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can order a private session, 3 questions by email, EQ method, and a lot more. And you can also check out healingcodecards.com, where you can grab your mind deck, your body deck, and of course the brand new Body Deck Special Edition. All of these are available in digital editions as well. And you can also get a shirt just like this through healingcodeshop.com, where you can experience the healing codes in apparel form. So feel free to check out these websites. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Be well.